Okay, we are live, ladies.
Thank you, Melanie. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Women Up Friday afternoon show. We're so happy to have you with us. I know you are probably a little bit confused right now. Where is Deborah? Where is Sarah? Well, they got the day off and took a risk and handed it over to Jen Branchini and myself. So Jen, are you ready to have a great dialogue today with our special guest?
Oh, I am so ready. I'm really, really excited to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be a really terrific afternoon. So thank you for being with us. Please tell Sarah and Deborah how great we did. And I'm going to hand it over to Jen to have a little go at some updates from CAR, and then she will introduce Amy.
Awesome. Thank you, Leslie. So fun to see you. I don't get to see you very often. So if it's here, I will take it. We can fill in any time for Deborah and Sarah, but I hope they're having a great day off. Anyway, so I wanted to just give you a quick little overview of some CAR updates with things that are going on, things that are coming up. One of the big things that launched is the CAR Spanish language home buying ad campaign. So we know that Hispanic homeownership is expected to explode over the next 2 decades. And so CAR has launched the Spanish language advertising campaign to educate first-time home buyers about the process of buying a home. So keep your eyes out for that. The other thing that's coming up, Reimagine, the real estate virtual conference and expo. It's free to CAR members, and there is a fee if you're not a member, but please make sure you tune in for that. And that is October 5th through the 7th. There's a couple of key sessions I would like to highlight just to get you excited about what's coming. We've got top producer panels. We've got a how realtors can disrupt implicit bias, because we know we all stereotype. I'm not going to read all the panelists. You can go to the agenda on the site and check it out because it's pretty dynamic. The other one is the CEOs. We have Sides Guy Gal sitting down with Joel Singer, CAR's CEO, lots of C's there. And then, of course, Woman Up, the rise of women in leadership. So that's going to be a really great one that Leslie is moderating. So that's very exciting. And then All Voices, Bingo and Mingle. Learn fun facts about the 7 sister multicultural real estate organizations while playing bingo. So that's super exciting, huge hit. And then Fire Up Your Business with Coach Lee Davenport. And then the brokerage, Then, Now, and Tomorrow. Lots of exciting things.
We've got it all, folks.
Yes, there's so much.
And bingo.
And a huge one we've got with Joel Singer is retiring this year. So it's Joel Singer on 43 years, a career retrospective. So make sure you tune in for that and send your well wishes to him. So that is just a quick highlight there. Yeah. And then last but not least, because everyone cares about the housing market, there is a forecast with Jordan Levine, our chief economist at CAR, and that wraps up the meeting there. The other exciting things is we have our first in-person business meetings for CAR, which is super exciting. That's going to run from the 27th of September, which happens to be my birthday, until October 8th. And so we're very excited to see members and our directors in person in Anaheim. So if you're coming, I can't wait to, hang out and catch up. It's been 4 meetings and we are going to almost be off of Zoom for the most part. But then the other thing too, Women's Council of Realtors, they have the California Fall Meeting. That is from October 2nd to the 4th. And they're a great supporter and sponsor of Woman Up. And so with that, I'll conclude my updates and get to the star of the show. And I'd love to introduce Amy Chorew. She is our gracious guest for today. welcome Amy. She is a very long-time member of the WomanUP community. I kind of want to say like long-time caller, no, long-time listener, first-time caller kind of thing, but that's not true. I just, you've been around for a really long time with WomanUP and a great supporter. So, but Amy is a well-known speaker and educator and a trailblazer at the intersection of real estate and tech. I personally have admired Amy since about 2012 when I first heard her speak. Also attending meetings at NAR where she led committees on education, and I'm always in awe. I've had the great opportunity to work with her over the years, and I'm always learning something inspiring from her too. She has this unique way of always slipping in a little learning nugget, even when you aren't talking about education. So that's a true gift. So I also thank you for your friendship, Amy. But let's do a quick reflection. Real estate career, over 30 years. You've worn so many hats, including training and marketing. And in 2012, you were appointed to the Vice President of Platform Development for Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. And that role, you were responsible for growing the brand's educational platform. And I know this firsthand, and I benefited, and at the time, my brokerage benefited from it. And all the tools and technologies offered to the brand's network. Your most recent role had expanded to VP of Learning for BHGRE and ERA Real Estate. So much bigger role, I'm assuming. And then when you think that Amy has done it all, earlier this year, she made a major career change and is now President of Curated Learning and dipping her toes back into selling a little bit.
Yeah.
So I know that's a lot. So like, wow. I'm so grateful for you to be here, Amy. Thank you for agreeing. I know you have plans with the family tonight, and we are excited, and our audience is absolutely going to benefit from hearing you talk today. So welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Boy, that's a lot.
I know it's a lot.
Whew.
And we lost Leslie. So,
Yep.
So now look at that.
Okay, we can talk.
Well, so I guess, I think the big thing is if you want to kind of talk about this new venture a little bit, just sort of highlight that, and we'll kind of start there.
Yeah. I think everybody, and I'm sure, I hope I'm speaking for everybody, is that we are really passionate and love what we're doing, but sometimes you start feeling like you're not in the right place, right time anymore. And in my life, I've always been led by a couple of things. If I'm not having fun and I'm not really feeling fulfilled, I leave it up to whatever the power that you believe in is like, show me the way. And doors have always opened for me, and I walk through. If I feel it could be chaos around me, reasons why things happen and change could be all over the place. But if I have, like, I call it like in my gut, if I have peace in my gut, I make the move. And it's happened in my life so many times that I trust it. And I know if you're an entrepreneur, and most of us who are in real estate have the entrepreneur mindset, we're able to do that. So I've seen a need for certain things in our industry, and I wasn't able to do it to the full extent that I wanted. And I just felt it was time, and also had some family things happen. My father-in-law, we moved our in-laws up near us. My father-in-law passed away in December, and on his deathbed, he says to me, Amy, he's Russian, so he goes, Amy, do not put mom in home. He goes, I have money, keep her in house. So my mother-in-law, of course, talks Russian because she's kind of reverted back. She's 96. And I have a full-time woman there. She's from Turkmenistan. So I'm learning about Turkey and Muslim experience. I know this is what you're going to hear, but it's been fascinating. But I am there almost every day. And it took a toll on everything. I said, you know what? Family first. So it made the plunge and went into my own business. And I will say, because of what I teach, I practiced what I preach, and I put a business plan together. Believe it or not, I have a business coach, and I have a business coach, actually two, and they help me stay on track because I can get off track. I like to say yes a lot, and I'm learning how to say no. So that's kind of the overall what happened.
Well, I think there's a couple huge things there, right? That intuition that we tend to question all the time. I know when you were saying that, I can say there are like maybe 4 defining moments in my life where I made a decision to take a different road, and everything in my core said it was the right thing to do. And so I think it's really important that, you know, that we really truly have that time to sort of go, you know, separate from everything in the world and let that intuition kind of guide us and what the right thing to do. I think the other piece is, you know, with the pandemic and sort of all of that presented to every one of us, right? You know, there's that, what is the saying? It's like, we're not necessarily in the same boat, but we're, you know, kind of charting the same waters and trying to figure out, you know, what life means, right? There was a lot of confusion, a lot of anxiety, a lot of opportunity to sort of sit back and have that time with yourself, because at the pace that many of us lead our lives and we don't ever have that time, right? Maybe on an airplane for about an hour. But otherwise, you know, we're going. And so we don't take a moment and step back and say, what is it that really truly speaks to me and makes me happy? And so you, and I think many other people have had those sort of aha moments over this past year and a half to say, what is it that I'm really truly passionate about, and how do I make that happen? So I love that you have business coaches and you did a business plan and all the things that we preach, right? All the time. It's so important to do it ourselves. So that's amazing. And so wonderful that you're able to be there for your mother-in-law too. That's a huge, huge piece. Family is incredibly important.
I'm learning Russian on my Duolingo app so I can communicate with the women, because we literally do it with a translation app. My husband's fluent in many languages. You know there's a saying, what do you call someone who only knows one language? An American. Most people who have been born with a second language, they can learn many. So I think he has like 5 languages, because once you learn one, you know, Russian, German, Polish, Spanish. But I'm learning to speak with her, and it's frustrating because I love this woman, and we both say, she goes, I wish I knew English. And I go, I wish I knew Russian. So anyway, one thing go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I'm just curious, like, do you think, I mean, how much do you think the pandemic played that role in your decision to make this move?
I think it helped it because I was home. You know, you're in the office all the time, and I was in the office a lot and not at home. And now that I'm stuck at home, which is not a bad thing, I was able to take stock of all of those things. But I think it was the pandemic, but I was feeling it anyway. And I think it kind of just gave me the strength to move forward. So I'm very thrilled about how everyone reacted and supported me. So I'm very thankful for that, because it's not a light decision. So that's great. And you know, everyone said you should take like 2 months off when you start something new, but I was nervous because where's the money going to come from? I think if I would say to anyone else, really take the time. If you don't have a plan, put a plan in place and really think it through. Everyone told me that, and I'm like, yeah. And I didn't. And I did have opportunities right away, and I'm thankful and I love what I'm doing. But now that I'm doing it, I'm thinking, oh, if I had really taken the time, I might have done things a little bit different. It's hard to hear, really is, but smart words.
That's true. I have a good friend who's doing that right now. And she said to me last night, actually, why I'm not going to put limits on how long. And I was like, okay, that's great. Not everyone has that luxury, right? As you say, it's sort of like thinking about what, we've got roofs over our heads and things that, we have to support. So it's different for everybody.
Pandemic piece though, I have a friend who I adore this woman. She's actually a neuroscientist. And she, before the pandemic, would speak on the circuit, not in real estate, but she would speak for sales organizations, Fortune 500 companies, pharma, insurance, and she would talk to them about brain science, how it impacts your life. She's actually proved it with brain scans. So how dopamine and all the chemicals that are in your body impact you. And she teaches how to control those things so you can have people like and trust you and you don't overreact. And she actually helped me through a lot of it, because when you make a big change like I did, I got depressed. I mean, I was sad for a while. And she helped me get through that with some exercises, which I thought was amazing. And when she had me doing the exercises, I eat earthy, crunchy stuff I just don't get. And so she's making me do this exercise and I'm like laughing and she's like, stop it. She goes, do the exercise. I'm like, okay. And she's actually in Santa Barbara. My sister's in Santa Barbara. I'm going to see her next week. I'm going to be seeing her, but this woman's in Santa Barbara. And so she made me go through the exercise. And then I had to run out and do something. And I'm in the car and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not depressed anymore. I feel good. So if you're going to make a decision, make sure you have some kind of support that can get you through. And sometimes the people that are closest to you don't have the skill to help. I mean, I love my family, but they really couldn't support me. They don't get where I'm going. And it was nice to be able to find it this was actually through another woman's network, my sister's network. But I would say, make sure you reach out to people who will be really honest with you and help you get to that next level.
That is so true. I'm curious what these exercises are. I imagine it's like weird sounds or something, but it's good. No, it's so important. So, that's the whole thing, right? We have to get out of our own heads and do something completely different in order to sort of get back on track somehow. I don't know why it works that way, but it kind of does.
Yep.
So, well, and I guess maybe can you kind of talk just a little bit about what it is that you're doing? So, just a little bit more of what that vision is, kind of what, your plan is, all of that.
Sure. One of the things that I wanted to do is take all the knowledge that I've had over all the years and consult. And it's hard for some people to come and do that. But I think about everyone in the audience, all of us, we've had years of experience. Malcolm, and you don't mind if I just segue with this. Is this okay?
Go for it.
Malcolm Gladwell has that book where he talks about the 10,000 hours. I've had people my whole career go, I want to do what you're doing. And I'm like, well, pay that price. Think about everybody who's in real estate. Your business inside and out. It's so hard to teach. So I've had since 2000, 21 years of this, where I really understand how to bring technology products to market, how to get agents engaged with it, and how to do skill training where a broker can count on that as productivity increase in their agents. If a broker could say, if I do training for my agents and my bottom line will increase, they'll make more money, I'll make more money, my agents will be happier. Would I be willing to get more into training? So those were my two pieces. So that's what I'm doing. I'm working with some prop tech, some technology companies to bring engagement to their product, to the market. And I'm helping write training. And I'm doing some different projects. We're creating the training so brokers can monitor and make sure it's working. That's kind of it.
That's awesome. And kind of what do you think the best part so far has been about doing this? I know there's always, the metrics in the end when you see the successes is obviously like a really rewarding piece of it, but sort of what part of this process and part of your job that sort of fills your soul?
I can relate to it as a real estate agent. When you're doing everything as a real estate agent, and then you decide you're going to hire a marketing person or an admin, and all of a sudden you're freed up from all of that and you can focus on what you love. I'm not doing all of the busy work. I hire people to do that. And I get to manage people and manage process. I love it. I love to be able to give my ideas, have the team put it together, then give it to the client. And I'm not sitting there hours doing all that crazy busy work. So it's kind of the same thing as an agent. What are you good at? Stop doing the stuff you're not good at. Let somebody else do it so you can get better. Because some of us don't want to give up sometimes I say to people, don't quit your day job. Like if you want to do something else, do a little bit of it to make sure it's what you really love, and then you can enhance it. But you don't have to, quit real estate and do something else if you don't want to.
That's good. And it's hard to delegate that stuff too, because, as I say, we're all maybe a little bit controlling.
I think the other thing is, as you get older, you really do know what you're good at, and you know what you enjoy doing. Kind of in the beginning, you're still just trying to get a toolkit and fill it up, but I think that's one of the things about making a change later in life is you really know who you are, and you know what you enjoy, and you know what you should get help with, just because it's not the best use of your time.
One of the things I'm focused on, I believe all real estate professionals should have multiple streams of income. It could be with your financial planner. There's ways to do that with a financial planner, but also it could be rental income. It could be teaching. It could be different things, because we are day workers. If we don't work, we don't make money. So I think every real estate agent should be thinking about that. And that's what I've been doing now with my goal of my career is to do my day work, but create income streams that will keep on giving back to me. And one of the ways, so that's what we're working on, but creating courses that can live somewhere and have a residual income. But there's so many ways for us as real estate people to do that.
Correct. And then keeping your I'm going to segue a little bit. You also are keeping your toe sort of in the real estate space, which I always believe is a great benefit to whatever we're doing, because if you really have sort of firsthand street knowledge of what's going on out there, it is a lot easier to kind of teach and share and support those that we are supporting. And, that's how I look at, the things that I do as a manager. And so I'd love to hear sort of your re-entry.
I wrote a 4-day new agent training program for a large company, and we tested it, and we're tweaking it, and we're going to go back and do it one more time. But in the meantime, that's what I love about social media. As soon as I put out there that I had changed jobs because people see me, I got potential jobs for my consulting. I put it out there that I'm going to be selling real estate, got 2 buyers and 1 listing. So the buyer, I used all the materials that I had shared in the new agent training, from the form we told them to use to the scripts. It was really fun. So I proved efficacy of the program, but I can't do all the work. So I'm working with a younger agent in the office. I had to kind of like breathe and realize I really have to work with him because, but that's what I'm doing, which has been fun. So what's fun is the muscle memory comes back. I haven't sold since 2012 and it came back. But one of the things I learned, which I thought was interesting with him, and I hope if I'm too off base, shut me up, but is I call it the communication tree. I don't know if you've ever heard of the book Fierce Conversations, but in the book Fierce Conversations, like, this is an example. He forwarded, we had 1 contract that they didn't get the house. There were 20 offers. The second house, so that first house, he forgot to CC me on the contract when we went, highest and best by that night. They didn't get it. He texts the client to tell them they didn't get the house. And I'm like, so I got him on the phone the next morning and I go, here's the communication tree. I'm doing all the communication. Certain things you can go do. And now I had to like coach him and train him. So I think that's the other thing. As you bring people in, it's not always lovely. So it's putting a lot of pressure on me. I can't do my regular job. I've got to like train this guy, but it's been helpful. I'm helping him, and we're getting all of this done. But the listing's been fun too. Worked with them on staging, of course, and having the hard conversation about clutter and smell. And we're going to do it coming soon. I don't know if you guys have that in California, but we're doing
Oh,
it.
yes, we do.
And the pricing was crazy because they see all the craziness with the pricing. And I'm speaking to the choir here, but you know, I said, that's 2 months old, that data. So I started running, you know, MLS searches to show them that houses that overpriced, they're still sitting. They're like, oh, there's houses that are actually not selling in 3 hours. I'm like, yes. So it was fun to get right back into it. So yeah, listing and 2 buyers. I'm going to try to like stop that because it's getting a little overwhelming, but it's fun to do. I love real estate.
Well, let me just interject a question now, just since you mentioned that you're dabbling. Well, I don't want to even say dabbling. You're in the market again. What's your sense of how the fall's going to play out?
It's funny, in our market here, I'm in Connecticut, it's town by town. Certain towns are slowing down, others are still crazy. And I haven't had the time to look at it, but that's what all the other realtors are telling me. It's literally town by town. And what I'm happy about is I think pricing, it's almost like, and I don't know if 100,000 works for where you guys are, but I think we should just put 100,000 on everyone's ad price and then just start again from scratch, because we were undervalued because of the craziness since 2008. So I don't think we're going to have issues where people are going to be upside down again. So I think we're in a good place. I think it's going to continue. I think it'll start slowing, but I still think it's going to continue as long as the interest rates are low like this.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think the thing that realtors need to keep in mind is set the context with their clients, right? Yeah, things are less frenetic than they were 6-9 months ago, but compared to what typically happens, this is still a very competitive market. And I think it will, as long as rates remain where they are.
That communication tree is so key, like in many aspects of what we do, right? Because what Leslie said, setting the expectations of the clients, there's so much of that doesn't happen, that gets realtors into trouble. And you think about, gosh, if you would have just had that conversation, you know, the outcome would look so differently. And some of that angst that happens in the middle wouldn't be there. And what you said about texting the client that they didn't get the house, I might be guilty of that in my career occasionally.
First time buyers, and they had lost another house, and then friend referred me. So this was their second hit. The house that they just got, they got it because it's got well and septic and solar panels. And I think they're okay. And that's why I think they got it, because people are afraid of that stuff here. Anyway, but I think in your market, it's a little bit different. So I'm going to give you a pass on that.
Some of our clients expect us to only text them.
Right.
They don't want a phone call from you.
Well, it's like a good marriage, right? You ought to sit down and have a conversation. How would you like to hear from me, and in what format? You know, it would really help people get along and communicate.
Exactly.
Well, that's the other thing. I would not work with them until they signed. And I did. I went through expectations of them and me. And I think in my earlier days, I wouldn't have done that. I would have taken anything. And I know that we experienced agents, and I'm not experienced because I'm only getting back into it. But it was really nice to be able to have that, the power to do that and the confidence to do it. So,
wow, that's
well,
good.
I'm going to just disagree with you on the experience part.
Okay.
There's a lot that constitutes experience, and I think you absolutely have it. That's for sure. When you teach it, you know, it's in you. So, and then of course, just with time and confidence and knowing the materials and knowing what you're doing and what you're talking about, it comes easily. It comes more easily. And yes, in the beginning, we all did things that were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that.
Amy, how much public speaking are you doing now?
Not as much. I am actually flying next week to do some. I'll be at Women's Council speaking at NER, so I'll see you guys there.
Nice.
I haven't been doing that yet. So I don't know. How about you, Leslie?
I just remember you just wowing audiences and all the courses that you've given and presentations. I'm doing a few things here and there. I'm going to be, John and I are speaking at the Michigan Association at the end of September at their conference. So that's going to be kind of fun to share the stage with him. And it is an in-person conference. So that'll be the first one. And since I left, almost 2 years ago, so it's a little bit like falling off a bike, you get back into it pretty quickly, but I'm looking forward to that. So a few things like that. Yeah.
Well, I am doing the topic we're doing at Women's Council. The one thing I have been doing one of my things that passions is also cryptocurrency. I think the blockchain and smart contracts and the cryptocurrency will be impacting real estate, NFTs, and I am an early investor and made some good money on crypto, but that's not what I think most important. I think it is going to impact our industry. And just like in 2004, when I got into social media, that was my whole shtick then. I do believe this is going to impact us. It's not going to happen overnight because regulators and the people who will lose out, because this will be decentralized, where we won't need third parties to validate things. And that all has to go through, people validating and understanding, but it's already going on. So I am speaking about that, which I'm having a lot of fun with. It's not so much selling and buying houses with crypto, it's the concept of the blockchain. And the blockchain is a decentralized aspect where you don't have to have a bank involved. So think about this. The internet's made it easiest for us to have peer-to-peer transactions and everything to do with everything but money. Money, you still have to have a central bank or organization, whether it's digital or real cash, to distribute it. You got to go through the bank. But right now, I can send you a picture, I can send you a form, I could send you a video or anything, and that's peer-to-peer. We're going direct. So what blockchain does is allow you to have an actual transaction where it's the two parties coming together, and there's more security, there's no wire fraud, there's a lot of great features, but there's a lot of people who will lose out if that's what happens. But
I'm thinking of the title industry right now, right?
Yep, attorneys, title, banks in some respect. So what'll happen is it'll be less expensive. And the beautiful thing about this is the real estate agent is still in the center of the transaction. So that's what I like about that. It's going to have a lot of iterations before we get, but it's happening internationally a lot. It's been happening a lot in parts of California. It's also happening in Florida, like Miami area, where there's a lot of international. But the other thing that's interesting, I don't know if you guys, we're a little off topic, but if you've heard of NFTs, right? You've heard of that before?
Yes.
Non-fungible tokens.
Yeah, and people buying like a piece of art and then burning it. I'm just could use some help on understanding that.
So think about this. Let's say you have the Mona Lisa, and that's a once in a lifetime piece of art someone owns. What they could do is they can take squares of it and take digital squares. So let's say they break it into 20 digital squares. They can sell those squares. And now those people are the only people who own that piece of that artwork. So it's valuable. Now, that being said, there are and this is generational. There are people who are buying virtual land or buying icons or avatars that are created by famous people and selling them for $150,000. I mean, it's like, it's a little bit out of my wheelhouse, but the way I see it coming into real estate is with fractional ownership or a legacy home. So you have a home and you have maybe 4 children, and you buy it as the parents sell it to their kids or give it to their kids as an NFT. It is now immutable. It is theirs, and they all four own a piece of it. Now, they can always do something later on, but you now don't have all of those crazy 1031 or all the fractional share stuff, all of the tax implications, all that craziness goes away, and it's done. So I believe, I have to confirm, but someone told me that Austin Allison, the guy who owned Dotloop, he's going to do some NFTs with his Picasa company.
The Picasa, uh-huh.
I believe they're going to be doing that with some of their multi-ownership there. I was just told that, so I want to check into it. But that makes a lot of sense to me, where it's done like that.
That's what they're selling, is fractional ownership.
Right. So if it's done on a blockchain smart contract and done, could be done, which I think he's doing now, and he's also letting people buy with crypto. But then the idea of it being an NFT where it's yours and it's there. So that's really simplistic, but
yeah. No, that helps. That's all I can do right now, to be honest.
I was going to say, I think that's, most people can only handle the simplistic part of that, because it's kind of mind blowing when you think about some of these things. But
right now we've kind of got the vestiges of the greenbacks, I mean, we're still, we're not on the gold standard, but we still think about Fort Knox. And then here is this whole other world coming where things are just thoughts.
Think about it. They keep on printing money. Where is the value of fiat? That's what we call cash, or the dollar, right. Fiat. But cryptocurrency, for example, Bitcoin, I'll use that one. They're only making a certain amount. Once it's done, it's done. So they're not going to make any more. So the value will always go up. Now there's thousands of cryptocurrency. I will say the one where real estate is happening is most of the real estate stuff, the blockchain that real estate's happening on, and shut me up if I'm going too far, is the Ethereum blockchain. And the cryptocurrency that the main one is called ETH, the Ethereum, ETH, and there's many others on the Ethereum, but that's where most of the real estate, because the Ethereum blockchain allows you to do smart contracts, just what real estate needs. But there's a company called Proppy. They have a blockchain transaction platform. She actually won one of the NAR Reach things. They are giving away, they created their own cryptocurrency. It's called the Pro. It is the only real estate cryptocurrency, and it's used on her platform to purchase smart blockchain and smart contracts. They're trying to make it so it becomes a valuable crypto on the crypto world. They're giving away 1,000 tokens to real estate agents. And I believe she was going to be speaking with Sarah soon. Right now, that token is worth $90. So they're literally giving $900 of crypto away to people. And you have to be a real estate agent. It's kind of cool.
So here's like a really stupid question. So you get it. What do you do with it?
So they, for the Proppy token, they have an app, and as long as you can prove you're a realtor, you can put it on their app and watch it grow. Those of us who are buying cryptocurrency, you need a wallet, and there are physical wallets and digital wallets. One of the ones that a lot of people get started on is called Coinbase. Coinbase actually is a publicly traded company now. They have stock. But if you download a Coinbase wallet, when you set it up, it's very secure. And they give you the ability to set up, like, you have to do all of these little terms. I think there's 8 terms. You better save it somewhere, because if you lose it, you can't get back into your wallet. I mean, literally can't get back into your wallet. So you buy crypto and you put it in your wallet. So that's one of the wallets I use. But a funny story, we are so off topic. So this guy had a ton of cryptocurrency, and he was sick, and he put his terms, you know how kids have those letters, those little letters, magnetic letters. He put his terms on his refrigerator, the 8 words for his wallet. He passes away. The cleaning lady comes in and does what? Psh, off the refrigerator. Now, he had a camera in the house, so they were able to go back and find the footage on the camera to put the terms up so the kids could get into his wallet and get his very well-endowed wallet, get the crypto out of it.
So Amy, I want to just circle back to social media. You said no, but I mean, I'm listening seriously to this because I remember you saying in 2004, which was a year before Facebook, right? And so it was very rudimentary. And I'm just wondering, like, what you saw happening, and has it been what you expected?
So
Social media, I think, is something all our listeners can really, we get that, right? We're on Facebook right now.
So in 2004, there were some social media sites happening. Blogging was big. And I just had a gut feeling that this was going to impact our industry. So 10,000 hours, I just started studying. And if you remember, that's what I used to teach. I would go out there and teach. And then I handed it off to the beautiful people like Katie Lance who are doing amazing jobs. It was time for me to move on. What I saw was a tool that was going to impact our industry, because most of us do our business through relationships. And we need ways to connect with people who know and love us. And up till then, it was postcards, knocking on doors, Popeyes. I just saw it in my brain. This is going to be an easy way to connect with people. And then as I started seeing it create, I saw people were doing stupid things like, my husband just died. I'm like, you're on Facebook and your husband just died, or other things. I hate this person, or look at what, all the crazy things people did. And I go, wow, this is going to be a great opportunity to teach people how to act and what to say. And we literally saw it back in 2005, 2004, and just started. I remember literally being booed off stage one time. They're saying, this will never happen. And I had the chutzpah enough to say, I don't forget where I was. I said, listen, I hope you enjoyed the muffins and the coffee and the donuts. At least you got that today. And I just got up and my shaky legs and walked out. So been through it once.
Well, I remember, and I'm sure you guys hopefully do too, in 1999, CAR did the first survey, and we called it Internet versus Traditional Buyers. Right. And we were the first ones that did it. Right. It was like, how long did you look? How many homes did you sell? And we had this whole speech where we compare and contrast the traditional buyer with the internet buyer. And of course, I don't know, 10 years later, it was like, let's just talk about consumers because everything's on the internet. But the fact that we all experienced that transition, I mean, it was big. Wow.
So I kind of think that's going to happen again. It's my gut. So that was another reason I decided to segue out. And we're writing right now a certification on how to use crypto. That's something else that we're working on.
So what advice do you have for our listeners who might be thinking about, I don't know, doing something different, following their dream, however you want to characterize what you just did, because it's pretty big, right? Like how'd you get there, and what did it take?
Make sure you have money in the bank. I literally took out of my savings about 40,000 and I put it in my checking account. So I said, you have how much that would cover. I think I figured if I could do it, I could do 6 months. If I needed 6 months without a paycheck, I could do it. And the psychological aspect of taking it out of savings and putting it in my checking account gave me that comfort. I would say, write a plan and get someone you trust. You can talk to your family, but get someone who has an entrepreneurial mindset that can really help you work it out and pay the price. My business coach is not cheap, but has helped me make some wise decisions. Put a plan together and let it sit, and don't quit your day job. Don't quit your day job. Start with some testing the waters and try something. I mean, it could be you want to stay in real estate and you want to start investing in Airbnbs. That you can do both. But if it's something that's vastly different, put a plan in place and start Oh, that's the other thing. When I decided to make a leave, I called some very strategic people in my life. And I told them what I was doing because I knew they would start thinking, and those people got me the opportunities that I now have. So that's the beginning of it. Hopefully
Right.
that helps.
Very cool. Very cool.
Was, I guess my question would be, you know, we as women tend to take on the positive reinforced, you know, support. And then even when people, the naysayers, right? Typically they're the naysayers because they couldn't do it themselves, right? So it's more of their, you know, they're pushing their own feelings upon you, your judgment, or they're judging you based on how they feel about themselves. And so, you know, did you have any of that?
So much. What happened was I got like, you know, what evil thing happened in your life that you had to do this? But people who do not have an entrepreneurial mindset, who would never do something like this on their own, they are afraid, they're jealous, and they try to put all of that on you, the fear. And I would get phone calls and I would be like, oh, they're calling. And after the call, I would cry because it was so like, really, like they just put their stuff on me, how they would feel. Oh my God, are you sure why did you do this? Are you know, all of that. That's why I worked with that neuroscientist, because I was so overwhelmed with all of these people projecting their negativity on me. I was getting frustrated and angry. And she helped me like burst through that. But thank you for that question, Jen, because that absolutely happens.
It's fascinating. And I will say that I got some of the best advice many years ago, and it was, don't let someone else's truth be your truth. And it was such a huge piece that I say it to myself a lot when I start to hear the negativity from others about whatever it is, you know, because obviously you know, when you do a lot of things, people like to judge on like what, you know, whatever that is. And I'm like, you know what, it's that whole, not my monkey, not my circus. Like that's on you. Like, I'm not going to carry that with me because that deters you from your path. Right. And if you have a clear path of what you're doing, you got to stay true to that. And you know,
I always say, keep your head down and make money and just smile. And here's the one last thing, my mentor, not my coach, when I first started years ago, because before I went into corporate, had my other company. I used to say, I love helping people and I will make money. And he said to me one day, stop it. He goes, here's your new mantra. I make money by helping people. You have a value, you have a worth. And now that I'm older and wiser, Leslie, I was able to do that right away. Giving my price, and if they don't like it, I move on and go to someone else. That takes chutzpah, and that takes experience and a mindset change. You have amazing value and knowledge. You need to own that, right. And you will share it. You will help them, but you're going to make money doing it.
You know, Amy, that's a message that the WomanUP community talks about all the time, because I think many of us need to hear it over and over again, because counteracting that is, I'm such a nice person and I'm happy to help you out, and oh, don't worry about it, it's no trouble, instead of, I am a valuable resource and I'm worth it and I have options, right? And I can make choices. And to see you being kind of the living embodiment of that well-earned wisdom is truly, it's truly delightful to see. It's wonderful.
You know what? It gives me the money to give. So I give back two ways, and I think we're almost out of time, so I'll be quick. So I tithe by giving to Food Share in Connecticut, and I tithe by giving to, it's crazy, the Chabad House here in Connecticut. I pay for kids to go to their summer camp. I don't belong to Chabad, but I love the rabbi, and he and I do real estate and we talk. But Food Share, so because I do that, I can really tithe. This is my tithe strongly with these groups. And that makes me happy. I choose what I'm going to give back. Now, I do mentor a lot of people, and I'm glad to do that. I'm always mentoring people, but that, because I'm strong and I stick to what you said, Leslie, that enables me to do that.
Wonderful. Jen, do you have any other comments or things to ask Amy before we close?
I don't have anything to ask per se, but I'm just so happy to get to see you and have a conversation with you. And I've sort of watched your journey over these last many months. And I was kind of in the beginning, kind of wondering, like, I wonder what she's up to.
Right.
And then, you know, it was the unveiling. So I knew there was something up your sleeve. So it's really exciting. I stand behind you 100%. I'm so excited for you and think you're amazing. And even today with your whole crypto discussion, my mind is blown.
You are amazing,
Yes.
really. And Amy, you've long just been one of my favorite people in the industry, and to just see you starting again, you know, being a pioneer, bringing us forward. Just thank you for all you've done for us. And thank you for being on the show today. It's been just a delight. And I apologize to everyone. I had a long anticipated appliance delivery that of course came right when the show started. So my apologies. Let me wrap it up with just a couple of reminders of things that are coming up. Next Friday's show, Alice Meyerhoff is going to be joining us to talk about becoming a business sponsor and leveling up. And then on September 29th, the wisdom session with Pat Heller, and I'll be continuing Coffee and Conversations on October 20th. And of course, you'll see all the information on this on the WomanUP Facebook page. So with that, have a wonderful weekend, everyone.
We have
Anything
to
else, Jen?
also acknowledge Amy. Happy birthday tomorrow.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Thank you.
Amy, happy birthday. We'll be thinking of you tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Luli.